So today we're going to be putting on the Injen Evolution. What's it called?
Injen Evolution.
On a 2016 BRZ. And we'll kind of roll through this step by step. First thing we're going to do is remove the front bumper cover. And we'll move on to step 2 after that. Okay, so front bumper cover is completely removed. You can now see kind of how the factory air tube is. All sorts of little air chambers and such in there. Comes down in. Nice airflow, resonators and all sorts of things. Front bumper cover is pretty straightforward. The hardest part is the side marker light. There are some clips in there that have to be depressed and pulled out. Once you get that out, it's honestly a piece of cake. Bumper seems like it's stuck, but it just kind of sits in there in a bunch of clips and things. You can see underneath of the headlights here where the bumper just kind of sits in there, and there's some clips that hold up against all that stuff. You can see all those clips that sit down in there. The fog light / LED lights will need to be disconnected. That's this clip right here. So to remove that, you just push in on this piece here. So just push that in and this will pull straight out. So alright, we're going to move on to step 2 and we'll keep you informed.
Alright, so if you look here on the instructions that came with it, it talks about how you have to, before you do anything, disconnect the battery over there. So you can see we've disconnected the positive, negative ends of the battery there. Step 2 says you have to go in there, and he's loosening the clamp on the throttle body right over here. And that's just pull out. You have to use an 8mm nut driver, or we're just using 8mm socket on a ratchet here. After that, it looks like we're going to have to be pulling out the crankcase line right here. We need some pliers to get those off, so we'll keep you updated after that step there.
Okay.
Alright, so we got some pliers. You're going to be removing that clamp there that's connecting to the crankcase line on the intake fitting.
Just twist. If it's kind of stuck, just twist it. It'll come loose. Leave the clamp on it. That comes loose.
And there it is right there.
Next thing we're going to do is we're going to be loosening. This is your sound resonator tube that goes into the cabin. Again, 8mm clamp. So we're going to loosen that clamp. It's going to come down to here. That's your sound resonator tube. And it says to remove said sound tube.
Straight front, it just pulls off.
Like that, just pulls right off. Keep the clamp on there.
Oh, and then
and there's a vinyl cap that comes with it. It looks something like this. A little vinyl cap that comes with the kit. You're going to take this vinyl cap, and this is going to cap off this resonator tube. Alright, so that's capped off. That does come with the kit. Then we're going to disconnect the mesh airflow sensor harness, which is here there with a tiny little screwdriver. Find one. So just push down on that.
Pop straight off.
That comes off. Okay. unclip the upper part of the air box. So that's this part here. So we're going to unclip that air box. I'm going to take these tools out of the way. Unclip the upper air box. Remove the upper assembly, including the intake tube from the vehicle. So this is going to come loose. Sound tube is going to come loose. This is your mass airflow sensor. There is a clip on here. It doesn't say to remove this, but obviously we're going to have to remove this. So that's got to come out as well. So here's your upper air box. All right,
whole thing.
There's your upper air box with the original filter. Subaru engine, Toyota filter. Okay, so it says loosen 3 screws holding the bottom half of the air box. Looks like we got one here, and one here. Those are going to be 10 millimeters. That comes out. That comes out. We're going to keep that, and we're just going to keep the grommets in that.
Look at that. I'm going to stick these over here.
Loosen 2 screws holding the mass airflow sensor. So we're going to have to go back to
the intake over here.
Our intake. We're going to bring that back over. There's 2 Phillips head screws on this mass airflow sensor. They are small. They're just screwed right into plastic, so you won't have to torque on them too terribly hard. 1, 2. And this is step 8. After step 8, it says to remove bumper cover. We already did that because we knew that was coming. So make sure if there's any washers or anything, keep those. This is your mass airflow sensor. And it says remove the airbox resonator. That's this piece right here. This is the airbox resonator. The airbox sits right here, sat against this. So we've got 2 10mm bolts that we're going to remove on there. And then we'll remove that airbox resonator. Everything's pretty easy because it's 10mm here, it's a Phillips head here, so everything's pretty much the same tools. So honestly, it's not really bad. Short list of tools that you're going to be using. Pretty easy to work on for the most part. Like I said, the hardest part was that getting those reflectors out of the side. They're a little tricky because you don't know which way those clips are going. You see there's grommets in here. That just kind of pulls straight away. And that's going to come right out front. Just like so. There's your bottom airbox resonator. There are grommets in here as well. Just keep those in place if you have to reuse them. The kit is going to tell you to do that. Okay. Put these 2 10mm bolts on the side. So everything's out. Intake's completely out. Old intake's completely out. So this says remove the plastic splash guard. And that is this whole chunk right here. That's this little guy right here. It just uses those clips that you're going to be very familiar with at this point. Alright, so this is your splash pan. You've got clips all across here and up here. And then this little guy comes out. That's our splash guard. Put our clips here. Alright, our next step, 4 bolts top radiator support. Using 12mm socket or wrench. This will be for installation of ram scoop. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Down there. so we can see that when we get to it.
So we've got 2 other bolts on the bottom. We're just going to slide these up top right here. So this is going to get your top radiator support out of the way. Obviously the catch cable is still, the release cable is still on there, so don't tug on it too terribly hard. Pushback radiator support allowing for the install of the engine ram air scoop. Install the provided gasket to said air scoop. So in the kit here comes with an air scoop. And we did notice earlier that there is kind of a, on this, there's kind of a flat side and just a little bit of a roundy side. I probably makes 0 difference. But what we're going to do is we're going to mount the flat side to this and the roundy side to the other side, because the other side is just a little bit more round.